Hey, it's me, Junkman. How are you? Welcome. I am joined here by some friends of mine, the band Little Caesar. I have with me, and say hello when I say your name first off. I have with me singer Ron Young.
Hello.
Hey, Ron. I have guitar player Loren Molinare.
Hey, Junkman, how are you?
Doing fabulous, my friend. Considering. I got bassist Pharoah Barrett.
What up? How's it going, man?
Hey, man. I got guitar player Mark Tremalgia.
Hey, Junkman, how are you?
Fantastic, man. And of course, we got drummer Tom Morris with us too. How you doing, Tom?
Hey, Jordan. Good to see you.
Yeah, likewise, man. Well, you know, this is a different time. We're all locked down because of the whole coronavirus thing, and glad that we could get together via this particular Zoom thing too, which is cool. Because now, you know, I mean, we haven't been able to see each other in a long time. You guys have had so much going on, and now we're kind of locked down and kind of wondering what you guys are doing during the thing. First off, I will start out one at a time because, you know, if we start talking all at the same time, it's going to get kind of jumbled. So I'll start out with Ron. First off and foremost, since you're the actual singer of the band, you know, dude, what are you doing? Tell us some thoughts about the whole lockdown. What are you doing to keep yourself busy? Writing songs, anything like that? Tell us what's happening in your world these days.
Well, you know, fortunately, I live in a pretty isolated place on a farm ranch kind of place. So I've just been doing a lot of construction, riding my motorcycle, and deciding what form of pandemic meal I'm going to prepare for myself. And pretty much just trying to get my head around and decipher through the reality. And I think that everybody is trying to get their head around this. This is something that hasn't happened in 100 years. So we have no point of reference for this. So everybody's going to deal with it, interpret it, and cope with it and process it in their own way. And it's a very personal thing for something that is universal. So it's kind of strange.
Well, this is kind of why I wanted to speak with you guys about things like this. I mean, you know, we've known each other a long time. I mean, obviously, we can't reach out and touch each other. I can't go see you guys play a show or anything like that. I'm just wondering what's going on. I mean, tell me, are you guys writing anything new? I mean, obviously, there's going to be a lot of stuff written about this whole situation. And, you know, kind of want to find out what's happening with you about it. I mean, again, continuing on with Ron about this first and foremost.
Well, when we make music, we're collaborators. I'm sure everybody, I know that everybody, just as being their own creative beings, write songs. And then when we turn them into Little Caesar songs, that requires a collaborative effort. So we haven't had that ability to do that. You know, we all, you know, we had a bunch of shows coming up and a bunch of dates, and that all got pulled out from underneath us with this. And then we started making prep to do some high quality, full camera, full audio, live to Facebook performance. We kind of put that on hold because, you know, it's just, we're in a stand down kind of order. So we decided to just wait till we kind of get over this curve thing and not risk anything other than our direct family that we have to deal with, and, you know, and kind of go from there. You know, there's so much about this that's going to be life altering. And I've done a lot of thinking about what this means for the music business, and what the logical progression of this is going to be from a social and a medical standpoint, and what those realities are going to mean. And it's just a matter of seeing how that unfolds.
Mm-hmm. Now, in terms of the virus itself, have you been affected? Anybody that you know that you've been very close to that's been affected by it?
No, actually, I think my wife and I got it about 3 weeks ago.
You know what? I'm sure that I got it myself too, about the same time ago too. And it took me down for a couple of days, and then after that, I was okay.
Yeah, me too. My wife, you know, from her work, she had a lot of employees that work in New York, and they came in for a meeting, and a few days later she started to feel bad. I thought it was just psychological. and she got, you know, a low-grade fever, a lot of aches, bad headache. They didn't have a lot of information really about what the mild, you know, they were all just pounding about this. And then a few days later, I started to feel the same way. And I'm pretty connected to my body and how I feel. And it was definitely something viral. There was no doubt about that. And, you know, just wrote it out. It passed. I'm really, really grateful. It passed in about 4 days. And it's been, you know, over about 2 weeks, over 2 weeks. So in the meantime, I just stayed really isolated and washed my hands and, you know, try to be socially responsible once I figured that out. So I don't know, when eventually they get antibody tests, you know, I think that's part of this whole process, that everyone's going to have to get tested to see if they've had exposure and if they've got immunity, so that they know they can be safe around their family, friends, and get back to life.
Yeah.
We haven't even really got, you know, they're trying to play catch up for who's positive. But it winds up meaning really not much of anything, because there's no treatment until you're critical. So they basically tell you to go home and just self-isolate, don't get near your loved ones, and be responsible. And then you kind of keep your fingers crossed and go from there. It's real interesting. I have a relative that's is a retired ICU nurse. And so I check in with her about stuff, and she says that they've identified 8 strains of this virus already. Wow. And now they're trying to figure out, why is it that some people, it's either a particular strain that knocks people back really, really badly, or just the personal bodies, each individual's response to the presence of the virus, as to why some people either never feel it, just go through a few days like I did of feeling like crap, or whether they wind up getting intubated. And so, you know, there's just so much going on around this, economic, socially, medically, politically, everything, you know. So it's just a whole lot of information to process, and to do that responsibly and figure out how you know, how you get through it.
Yeah. Well, I think that's on all of our minds for sure. Loren, you're you're involved in a lot of different product things, business-wise, band-wise, and things like that. Same kind of question goes to you. What are you doing with yourself to keep yourself busy? You know, and how many people do you know that have been affected by this whole thing? I know you're out there someplace, Loren.
Can't hear you, Loren. Did you mute your mic?
Maybe he might have.
Yes, some kind of co-host. I'm here. My mic is muted. You know, like probably 50 million other Americans working remote. Luckily, thank God, I still have a job. You know, in the music business and stuff, and I've been working remote. And you know, like Ron was saying, you know, about the gigs, and I think everybody in the music business are trying to figure out ways to how to keep the ball rolling while everybody's, you know, kind of locked down, waiting for this thing to kind of, you know, slow down. And we're probably weeks away from that. So for me personally, thank God I got a couple dogs, because they love it. It seems like an endless weekend for them, that we're always home. My wife works at home doing her landscape design business. So, but for me, is I'm trying to get 10,000 steps a day in with the dogs. Got to get the physical activity, just because can get cabin fever. And, you know, playing a lot of guitar, been coming up with some new ideas for songs and stuff like that. And just trying to take advantage of the time, because it seems like in the days that we live, you know, everyone's super busy, and for some reason the whole planet's been having a reboot to kind of slow down and kind of smell the roses. So I'm kind of taking advantage of that a bit and appreciating it. Far as the virus coming close to me, my nephew's been in the hospital. He supposedly tested negative for the virus in Des Moines, Iowa, but he's still, you know, sedated, I believe on a ventilator. So, you know, we're saying our prayers for him and stuff, but it's just serious times. And, you know, unfortunately, we all have to be in 6 different places here right now having this little chat. But, you know, where there's a will, there's a way, and we will survive through this. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah, and you know, with technology, basically you can do anything now. I really haven't missed myself. I really haven't missed a whole lot outside of, you know, physically going places. You know, I've had everything I've needed right here. I'm able to work out of the house as well too. So, moving on to Mark. Mark, you know, you're a guitar player. Guitar players have to stay busy. I've been seeing things that you've been doing online. Tell us about what life has been for you for the last month or so.
I've been getting to play a lot of guitar, which has been nice, you know, and a lot of my students, I moved them to Skype and FaceTime lessons. And so I've been able to keep up the lessons still. You know, the unfortunate thing is my favorite thing to do is to play with these guys and play with my other friends and get into a room and just jam. And, you know, I'm really pining for that moment where I can hear loud music again and not just, you know, sit in my house and play, or, you know, figure out some cool solos from back in the day and work on my chops, you know, trying to do things like that.
Yeah. You know what? I haven't really seen too many of the people that have been able to collaborate too much, you know, like with this kind of thing, music wise. Is that something that you want to look into a little bit more? Or, you know, if we have to be, you know, quarantined for another month or so?
Yeah, I've been checking out different programs, and I unfortunately haven't had any luck yet. The key, I think, is you have to buy an interface so you can plug the guitar into it so there's no latency, because no matter what we try, it seems like there's a bit of latency. So, you know, when I teach now, instead of playing together the whole lesson, a lot of times I impart wisdom and I'll play and then they'll play and we kind of share back and forth, and I'll teach them licks or songs, but it's not like, you know, where I can throw a metronome on and we go back and forth and can play a song together. So that part is definitely missing. I'd love to get back to that. Yeah.
Well, it's good to see you playing anyway, man. So, you know, again, you can't tell a guitar player not to, so again, hang in there. Pharoah, I know you're a very busy guy for a lot of different things. Oh, man, you just had twins recently. Tell us what life is all about at your place these days, man.
Yeah, it's definitely get to spend a lot of time with the kids, so they're happy. But that's definitely you know, fighting over sleep time between me and my wife. But we got the twins, the dogs. I'm still working. Luckily, Marvel allowed us to work from home, so we've got plenty of stuff to do on. We're the only ones working on the movie that I'm on right now, which is kind of, you know, like, wow, all right. Mark knows, he works lighting on set, so all the set guys, the guys are actually filming and working and all that, they're done. Nobody's working. All production other than us on this has been halted, which is pretty freaking crazy, because that's a lot of money worth of shit. But yeah, so I'm still working. I got the mutts. There's Harley. Here it is. But yeah, working, lots of video games, babies, dogs, guns, you know.
Getting some motorcycle time in too?
I haven't actually. The first time I left the house was a couple days ago, and that's like been weeks we've been here. So yeah, I haven't really even rode. Probably a good idea, starting to go a little stir crazy, so I need to get out and putt around for a minute.
I'm glad I could stir up that particular fire for you if I did, you know. But again, also glad to know that everybody's safe and the kids haven't been affected too much by this and things like that. So
yeah, nothing's happened here as far. I mean, we're right down the street from a hospital too, so it's kind of crazy. I mean, it's like literally at the end of the block, so it's kind of crazy to see like all the traffic coming in and out of there.
Sure.
But yeah, it hasn't really hit us down here, which is awesome. Hopefully we can keep it like that. We're pretty diligent about like Lysoling everything, and I got Clorox wipes, so anytime we get deliveries, we just fucking wipe everything down. Like, you know, it's like an operating table. Here's the, you know, quarantine, here's the quarantine, here's the cleaned, and then we'll put it away from there. So we're trying to stay pretty strict on that.
Good. Well, moving on to Tom. Tom, drummers, I know I am one. Like you, we're just busy guys. Tell us what you're doing with your time these days, man.
Yeah, Loren brought up a lot of good points about just learning to live at this new pace. It almost feels like being back as a kid in the 60s and 70s where, we were at home and, yeah, my wife's working from home. My stepdaughter's school is shut down, so she's doing school from here. So, it's been interesting, but it's been a time where I've reached out to a lot of friends, talking to people on the phone that I haven't talked to in a long time, and learning to get really adept at Instacart. Now one of the joys is like, they got the order right, like, oh my God, we actually got spinach. And I'm reading a book, something that I haven't done in a long time. This book, highly recommended. The Last Duel, about a medieval duel in France in 1386, which is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And
Gripping, riveting.
It's a good book. Yeah, I've been training at home. I took up boxing a couple of months ago, because I thought it'd be great, just in terms of staying in shape. And there's a lot of similarities with drumming because of, counting and combinations. And I'm finding that that's been really cool. So, yeah, just like everybody else, trying to have a structured lifestyle in a very shut down time, but I feel like we'll get through. I mean, obviously I miss playing music. I'm not able to go surfing because it turns out that that's pretty toxic with the way the ocean breeze carries it, and you can't surf anyway. You'll get arrested as a.
Yeah.
I don't
Imagine that.
There was a TMZ clip yesterday of a lone paddleboarder at Malibu that he was trying to escape the lifeguards and the sheriff's clipper, and it was just ridiculous. The guy got arrested. It's $1,000 ticket too if you're surfing right now.
Oh man, unbelievable.
So, yeah.
Well, I'm glad to see everybody just doing positive things, and see, hopefully that none of us really have had too many loved ones that have been affected by the virus. I know I had a good friend of mine that just got out of the hospital about 2 days ago, and he had it, and he was just miserable. And he put out a little Facebook Live thing about having it. But man, I'm telling you myself, it's been great. I don't think my house has ever been cleaner, for one thing. My cooking skills have not gone away. I'm cooking every day, and that's been awesome. I hope it doesn't show too much, But you guys are musicians, and obviously you had tours lined up for Europe. You had places like that. Ron, tell us a little bit about how those things, how do you cancel a tour and then not have to pay, things? How does that all work? Like when a tour is already booked and shows have already been booked. I mean, maybe tell us a little bit about how you guys handle these kind of things.
Well, fortunately, we only had some weekend runs, and we only had one set of flights booked. So we got bit in the butt a little bit by that. Everything else hasn't been, was far enough out that we didn't make large commitments. Now we have the dates that are still on hold. A lot of this stuff is obviously the ones that were for, back, last month, and they're going to run all the way through till June, are all going to probably be canceled. So that's not even an issue for us to contemplate what we as a band want to do. We have almost a 1 month run scheduled for September in Europe again. We're just going to have to wait and see. But, I think a lot of this stuff is going to, right now we're all consumed with getting past this surge. We're all behaving in an isolated way so that we as a country or world will help the medical teams to support other and try to save other people so they can all get medical attention. But the fact is that, like in China, it seems to be the only country now, at some point this is going to slow down. Now, then everyone's going to have a choice to make when they start opening things up. In our particular realm, it's still going to be around. There's no vaccine, there's no treatment. And if venues wind up opening up again, if they can open up again from small to large venues, it's my opinion that it's just not going to be possible to happen. First of all, half the people are going to stay home unless it's been eradicated because they're afraid. They're older, they have health conditions, they don't want to put their families at risk. So that's really going to hurt, any kind of a draw once it even gets to the area where people can make a personal decision to go out. So I have no idea. And I posted about this on Facebook. I think until there's a really effective treatment or a vaccine, which is 12 to 18, I just don't see how live music can happen. Bands can't book tours because they can't make that commitment on, flights, hotels, logistics, travel, equipment. Because this thing, all the experts say this is going to come and go in different speeds in different areas at different times. And these things have to be booked so far out, you can't correlate the two. So promoters aren't going to give you a whole lot of guarantee because they don't know if there's a show, and bands can't make commitments on things unless they have financial commitment. It's a really complicated and risky situation. And I just don't see how that's going to happen other than maybe it'll get to the point where there's a quick announcement in the middle of the week that somebody's going to come in on a Saturday and play. But even then, where's this microphone been? Where does the sound man doesn't look really clean because it's still going to be around. It's just not going to be a pandemic, so to speak. And I don't think we're so busy in the day-to-day now dealing with just the reality of keeping ourselves and our families safe that at some point those things are going to start to have to be contemplated. And I just don't see how that can happen until there's a vaccine. So,
Good point. Where can people find out a little bit more about Little Caesar? Tell us about websites and social media things where they can find out without getting directed to the stupid pizza place again,
Oh yeah, no, that's one of my entertaining things is still getting nasty emails on our Facebook page about how lousy our pizza is. I don't argue with them.
And it is.
The best place to communicate with us is our Facebook page. That kind of took over our general website. It's got the most updated information. You can communicate with all of us, see what's going on.
Instagram.
Yeah, Instagram too. We'll dig out some old photos or post some videos and stuff just to keep, people, we're still trying to organically grow our fan base, rather than buying likes or any of that stuff. So we have real true fans. We're still keeping our fingers crossed for Monsters of Rock coming up in February. Who knows what?
Yeah, congratulations on that too.
Thanks.
It's pretty cool.
It's sort of ironic that we try to get on that thing for 4 years and literally we get announced and 2 days later there's a pandemic that explodes.
It's the Little Caesar. It's the Little Caesar way.
Yeah, exactly. It's the life of Ralph Cramden, So yeah, so that's a good way.
The M3 Festival too, in Maryland. You guys have been selected to be on that as well too, which is awesome.
Yes, and that got postponed to Labor Day weekend, which is September 4th, 5th, and 6th. So, again, this is sort of the hope for the best, plan for the worst. That's kind of the mantra these days. So, we're keeping our fingers crossed and hoping that, something opens up so that, A, it's possible, B, we go, we could even go and do it and that everybody's up for it from the band to the fans to everything, so we'll see.
Well, speaking of your fans, what would you like to say now that we have, like a video? Tell us a thought going through your head that you'd just like to tell the Little Caesar fans right off the bat.
I'll give a parting and then let's let everybody go around. We love you guys and we live to come out and make music for you. That's not happening right now. Please just be safe. Take care of your loved ones. Take care of yourselves. Let's all look out for each other at the end of this and try to see the preciousness in life and treat it accordingly, as well as the people around you. A lot of people are getting nasty and testy. Try not to do that. We're all in this together and we can do it a little bit more pleasantly as well. So,
Loren, how about you?
Yeah, to all the fans and friends out there, is just be safe and be kind and hang tough through these times because nobody really knows because there's a lot of uncertainty how long it's going to go. But you know what? I think the human race is very resilient, so we'll all come bouncing back sooner or later.
Mark?
Yeah, just, want everybody to be safe and healthy and take care of themselves like they're doing. And where I live, it seems like everybody's looking out for each other. Neighbors are making sure everybody's got food and toilet paper, and everything that you need. Yeah, imagine that, but no one's run low because everybody has been looking out for each other. So it's been a nice thing to see some nice human spirit around here.
Pharaoh, let's hear from you, man.
That's pretty much everything everybody's already said. But yeah, just everybody be cool, wash your hands, stay the fuck home. Be cool, man.
Wise words right there. Tom as well. We got to include you in this too. Just some thoughts to the fans.
Sure, as the non-musician of the band, being a percussionist.
Hey, I'm the singer. I'm not the musician.
Yeah, wash your hands, stay home, support music the best you can. We'll be back out. We're ready to go. We've got a great new logo, great new banner. We're all stocked up on all our gear. Ron and I were completely stocking up, new amplifiers, and the band was sounding really good. I mean, the rehearsals were going really good. So we've been playing together so long that it's not going to be an issue getting back into this. We're very comfortable playing with each other. And the important part now is just, take care of your families, your friends, and, this will pass at some point, and life will return to some kind of a new normal. And, hopefully that will include live music. So that's what I got to say.
Well, it's a beautiful thing, and you alluded to that too. I mean, the latest record 8 is an awesome record, which you can find at record labels or record retailers online. Obviously you'll get a sealed copy on Amazon or any of the places that you buy your music these days. But it's a great record, and I really look forward to seeing you guys out and touring it, because it's just, you guys have got such great music. It's some of my favorite music. I try to support it as much as I possibly can, and turn as many new people onto Little Caesar music as I possibly can as well. So, it's good to see you guys. I miss you. All
you
miss
too.
you guys.
You too, Junkman. Thank you so much. I mean,
Yeah,
for all the
thank
years of support and friendship, and from music to just to life. So it's nice to do this with you, and nice to know that you're out there with and for us. So.
Well, besides with you guys, I think this is going to really mean a lot. And to me, I would really hope that this brings this not only this country, but the world together again. I mean, it's been so left or right lately for so long, and it's been so divisive back even like when Vietnam days, and maybe something like this, like it did during 9/11, maybe that can bring us all together again, and be, at least for a little while, kind of on the same page again. And that would be my hope for all this stuff. Obviously, we don't want anybody to get sick, but, it's going to happen, and you're going to be having to deal with it, and you're going to have to stay as safe as you possibly can. But, we have live music. Eventually, it will be back, and we'll have Little Caesar coming to a town near you. So, that's something for me to look forward to. So. And the rest
Thanks,
of
brother. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you hanging out with me for a while today and letting me hang out with you, and not being able to, we're keeping our social distance via video conference. So again, it's Little Caesar. Go see them and go look them up online. They'll be coming to a town near you anywhere in the world eventually. So you guys be safe, and my thoughts are with you.
Thank you.
Thanks, brother.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Be safe.
Cheers.